Welcome to Potawatomi Sportsbook Weekly. This is Austin with Potawatomi Sportsbook, and this is Zach over here, our restaurant manager, and we have Billy here as well from Fox Sports 920. I was really hoping you'd bring some food or beer or something with you today.
Where are the beer towers, dude?
Yeah.
Come on. Every time I'm here, there's no beer tower.
We got to make a beer tower up here next time.
We got this $10 beer, brat, and chip special right now. And it is. I've seen some people have it. And, I mean, first of all, a lot of places you go right now, you want to go to the ball game, you're paying $10 just for the beer. You're paying $10 just for the brat. You come here, you're getting both of those and some chips for $10 total.
And if you're coming during a Brewers home game, you're getting a ride.
How about that? Yeah. Worry about all that rain we had here, all the flooding and stuff around the stadium. But if you had a shuttle, that was a lot better than having to get your way to your car and all that yesterday, I'll tell you that.
Over the past few days, shuttle was not necessary. We are, I guess, in talks with some charter companies to get some boats out there.
I was going to say, did the oar come with the shuttle this week, or bring your own paddle to help get back? That was a crazy couple days.
So let's talk about the Brewers. Obviously, we just finished a 6-game losing streak, right? We got the win yesterday. Some late game heroics to win the game 2-1. What do you guys think about what you've seen from the Brewers so far this season?
They've been up and down, no doubt about it. They've also been riddled with some pretty significant injuries, right? Like the names nationally, Andrew Vaughn might not jump off the page, but when you're banking on him to be a 25-homer guy in the middle of your lineup, him to not be in there along with Jackson Churio for the entirety of the season is difficult to overcome. Then you compound it with Yelich going down a couple of games. Bryce Terang's down. He's been awesome coming off the WBC, but he's really been your most consistent offensive weapon. And at worst, you're 8-8, right? Like that's the nice thing about where they're at after the 6-game loser, like you mentioned. Come out of that, and your bottom barrel is 8-8. The best teams in ball, they bottom out at 500, and at least that's where I still see the Brewers at. Get through a rough patch here, but the youth in that rotation has looked even better than I kind of even anticipated it could early on.
Definitely passing the eye test with the pitching. I know McGill has gotten roughed up a little bit early in the season. He's looked a little, I don't know if the word's out of sorts, but maybe like he's not 100%, or we just don't have him at that level right now. But a lot of people are stepping up in place of him. Kind of like you said, we're just kind of floating through all these injuries. My big thing is kind of the play at third base. We know what Ortiz is doing for us. We know what Terang's doing for us. Bowers has been really pleasant so far to start the season. But David Hamilton, I'm not really impressed with. I'm hoping Brewers have a plan to bring in like another infielder that brings a little bit more utility and can play that third base. I don't know. For me, again, from a betting perspective, anytime that they're giving him a base and a half, or we're talking RBIs, hits, runs, I'm pounding the lower on that or under. Same thing with the overall Brewers score right now, because I think they're pitching well. Their offense isn't banging on all cylinders. So, I mean, a lot of these games recently have been 8.5, 9 points on those games. And again, I like the under.
I've been impressed with Andy Ashby. Oh my gosh, Andy Ashby?
Aaron Ashby.
Aaron Ashby.
Yeah.
I had it right the first time.
You had both of them. They're both MLBers.
Andre Ashby.
I remember watching his very first appearance in the major leagues. He started a game. It was a weekday afternoon game, and he didn't survive the top of the first inning.
Got murdered.
Yeah, absolutely. And to look at where he is now, I think he's like 4-0 on the year. Pitching excellent. Like very versatile, comes out of the bullpen when we need him. I mean, he's great. So seeing some surprises like that has been awesome. McGill, I feel like I don't think he's the best guy in our bullpen. Like I love Uribe, Abner Uribe.
Zeppa guy, or is it Zerpa?
Zerpa, yeah.
Zerpa, yeah.
Yeah, he's good.
But I mean, it is what it is. We got Yelich hurt now too, which I think a lot of people kind of thought that Yelich was going to start not being as important to our team in the years to come. But we still do our best when he's playing his best. But yeah, the Brewers, Bryce Terang, he's the best second baseman in baseball. I'll say that.
Hard to argue defensively and offensively. He's picked up that part of the slack. The other thing about Yelich, Austin, it's a good point because people anticipate at some point you just like hand off the torch to someone else. But he's been one of their most, they've relied upon his production maybe more than any. And for him to be out for a month, maybe a month and a half, that's pretty significant. They've got so many guys in the outfield, though, with opportunities to step up. Zach, you bring up third base. Luis Rengifo, they bring in for whatever, $3 million in the offseason. I think the thought was he takes over third base. With the injuries over at first, now they got him like working out during road trips over at first. His first game at third, or not at third, over at first base on a matinee on a Thursday. They've had to move a lot of pieces around there. I'm wondering how long it does take, though, with that left side of the infield before you maybe see a Cooper Pratt get an opportunity, or just mixing and matching to see who else can get in there and maybe take over third base for good.
A couple cash consideration fielders out there. I mean, there's guys all across the league right now that we can pick up. I mean, we have probably one of the best farm systems with Made coming in. You got guys like Cooper Pratt. I think we are a contender, and I think moving on from some of these pieces, and I know it's early in the season, but moving on from these people and just kind of working our way through the lineup, evaluating what we have talent-wise right now would be the best bet. And kind of to your point, my question to you was, you were talking about Yelich and kind of the passing of the torch, would you say? Like, who on the Brewers right now, who's that person that you think that they're working to become that premier level player for the Brewers?
Well, it's got to be Churio because of the contract, right? Like, the tough thing about it, Turang currently is the best player on the team, active player on the team. Maybe when at his best, I do believe Churio's talent puts him over the top. Tough thing is that you mentioned Made, Luis Pena, the number of guys that they have underneath. Obviously, 8 years for Cooper Pratt at $50 million. It's easier to forecast the end of Bryce Turang's tenure as a Brewer than, multiple years of him in Milwaukee. So that's the tough part about it, where you feel right now like you won on the Jackson Churio contract. So he has to be the franchise guy. Although there's a reason why there's a lot of number 2 jerseys running around. If there's any way they'd be able to pony up that salary, that'd be a great one to be able to lock in.
So go ahead.
Sounds like he's going to be. I was just going to say, with the elite level of like infielders that we have coming up from the farm system, there's just consistently this odd guy out, and it just is Bryce Turang. It's Brewers are notoriously cheap, and with so much incoming talent from our farm system, I don't see a way or a possibility where they try to keep Turang at those numbers. He's probably, when his contract is up, to me, he's the highest paid second baseman in the league, and that's not even,
it might not even take that long. Yeah. Right? Like, and that's the other part about it that's tough, Zach, is you gotta do the mathematics of how valuable is he running until the end, running with you until 1 year left on the contract, or when those guys are ready, do you make the move with multiple years of control and cash in? Because he's going to be one of the most valuable assets that there is on a trade market whenever he ends up hitting it.
Yeah, you're going to need multiple top prospects at least to get him back. So all you're doing is just refilling the farm system that's already looks super promising.
So I want to turn this into the betting perspective right now for the Brewers. Plus 275 to win the NL Central. The NL Central is the most wide-open betting division right now. The favorite is the Cubs at plus 215. The Cubs were even money 3 weeks ago when the season started. There is not another team, not another division in baseball that has a favorite at a price of like plus 215. They got the Dodgers at minus 2,000 to win the NL West.
Yeah, and good luck taking anyone else.
Yeah, I think that they got that. I mean, they're going to win well over 100 games, I think. Mm-hmm. The Braves in the East at plus 125, and don't rule out the Mets or Phillies there. And then you got the AL West. The Mariners are the slight favorite, with the Rangers and Astros not far behind. AL East, Yankees minus 120 with not much else around there. Looks like Orioles plus 375, Red Sox 6-1. And then the AL Central, Tigers plus 130, Royals and Guardians around 3-1. So yeah, it's the NL Central. You got like I said, the Cubs
all
plus
good money.
215, Brewers plus 275, Pirates plus 275, Reds plus 375.
That's
and then the Cardinals doesn't matter, 20-1. But yeah, I mean, it's a division that any 4 of those teams in theory could win the division. But the Cubs and Brewers are the 2 teams that everyone going into the year thought they'd win the division. Cubs plus 215 really intrigues me as a bet. Being even money just 3 weeks ago, now you're getting plus 215. Sure, they were in last place in our division. You know, they might still be. I know a couple days ago when I checked, they were, but I know they beat Philly now a couple games. I still think the Cubs are one of the best teams in the National League besides the Dodgers. So
they have the opportunity to also add to that rotation, right? Like their lineup isn't going anywhere. That Cubs lineup is legit. They're going to be able to score some runs.
They'll spend too.
And the other part,
they'll spend.
We'll see if they do.
When they get,
we'll see.
You don't think the summer?
We'll have to see. I don't know. Maybe one of the Ricketts brothers is going to run for office again, so they got to fund that. But like when you've
talk
seen
about the Cubs too much, I hate this.
you're right though. They were even money to start the year. I think the Brewers last week before the 6-game losing streak were like plus 175.
Yeah.
So if you look at it from that side, pretty decent value for a week difference. If you're thinking about it, now is a great time to be able to pounce because early time, 4 or 5.5 months worth of baseball still to go.
When you're
gonna
looking,
grab a little value and enjoy it.
When you're looking at futures like this, my personal opinion I'd give you is best way to bet futures like this is take the team before you expect them to have a run. So something like the Brewers having lost 6 in a row and then they won a game.
Yelly going on IL.
Yeah, but it's a good time to bet them if you still believe in them because you're getting a better price now. You know, the Cubs, even money 3 weeks ago. Now you're getting plus 215. Like, it's still so early in the year. Everyone's still going to be playing another, 135 games or something? There's so many games we played yet.
So is that like when with your Sixers, this would be the time to bet the Sixers when they're going up against the Bowser in the Eastern Conference, right? When they're backed up fully against the wall.
David and Goliath,
that's when you bet the team. I like that philosophy, Austin. Thank you for letting us see
just
how
bet
it works.
it when the odds are the highest.
It might be a week or two, and you guys are going to be looking back and being like, gosh, Austin was so right. Or you're going to call me a dumbass. I don't know which one it'll be.
Can we add that into a clip? Can we just put that into a clip?
But listen.
Up there with the vinegar stroke of the bite of the cheese curd, which was too good.
We need that as a clip. That's the hot take clip that we're going to start rolling.
That potentially might be the logo of this show.
I want to know right now what makes you guys believe the Boston Celtics are that much better than the Philadelphia 76ers.
Star power.
Oh, yeah? How's Tatum? Is he 100%?
His 80% is better than Maxi's 100%.
Well, that's bullshit.
Oh, my God. Oh. See,
Listen, I give you 2 words, Joel Embiid.
He's the reason why Philadelphia has a chance.
He's got an epidemic. I think they removed his appendix.
He's gonna be fine. You don't even need that. Everyone always tells me you don't even need an appendix. He's fine.
No, yeah, you're good.
Listen.
Take away his left and right knee too, because he apparently don't need those, because those things are gone every year.
Just need him from 7 games. Okay. Just need for 7 more games.
The Sixers needed him for 30 games this year, and I don't think he even did that. He's a great player, but.
Well, and it's hard to be a Giannis fan talking about somebody not being able to play a ton of games, right? Like at least this year's not the right year to be taking that take and fighting that one. But he's just not available, and I'm excited to see. Jason Tatum has the opportunity to do something that, first off, he's doing something that nobody else has done. This quickly coming back off an Achilles. Has not been seen before. On top of Brown and Tatum. Whether or not one's the better player or not, they're much better together than they would be separated because I think of how they play off of each other. And right now, they got a chance to be one of the only groups in this run of insane parity through the NBA that wins it twice.
Dude.
Nobody else has 2. Shea has 1. Jokic has 1. Giannis has 1.
Right.
I'm still waiting for Embiid. Kawhi's got 1 in the last decade, but nobody's been able to do it twice.
Just trust the process.
That process was 3 fucking coaches ago, though. That's the problem.
Yeah.
And he's the only problem.
I'm pretty sure that coach we just fired.
What?
Didn't we just fire Doc?
Yeah, so whose fault was it? Was it Embiid's?
It's the Milwaukee Brewers' fault, not Brewers. The Bucks for paying that guy and still paying him. I think we're paying coaches for the next 3 years that aren't coaching for us.
I still think we should have kept Jason Kidd.
We can't talk about the Bucks. This is just.
Is Giannis done? Is he going to play for the Bucks again?
I said at the beginning of this
he played all year. So where are you at now?
Is gone, and I think he's going to Golden State.
Listen, this is what I think is going to happen. Here's my prediction with Giannis.
Bronny and James.
He has the ability this summer, right? He's going into his last year of his deal to sign a supermax contract.
October 1st.
Okay. Oh, so I guess you have to wait till October 1st. He has that ability to do that. Okay. If he decides he wants to stay in Milwaukee, we're gonna give him that. I really do think the organization will do that. However, if we decide as an organization, or if he decides, or together, whatever, that we're gonna move on and trade him, I still think we do it after October 1st. We sign him to that extension, that supermax, and do like a sign and trade type of deal.
Right.
And the reason is because whoever wants to trade for him, they're not going to be as willing to give us much if it's for 1 year. But they'll give us a lot if they know they're going to be getting them for the next 5 years.
Right.
So I just think that's from an organizational standpoint, I think that's what you got to do. I worry about John Horst being part of the plan going forward. I feel like we need to bring in, we don't have the coach anymore. We don't have a lot of guys from a few years ago, right? I feel like we need a new plan, a new team of people coming in to build the next run that the Bucks might have, whether it's 5 years, 10 years, whatever down the road it might be. I just think we need a change.
Well, and it's a unique situation for whoever is making the decisions. I struggle to think it's not going to be Horst. They just extended him last year, or a year and a half ago. Granted, you mentioned it. They've spent money and paid people that aren't working for them.
Yeah, we're in a lot different situation than we were a year and a half ago. A year and a half ago, everyone was still optimistic that we were going to be a contender this last year.
But I don't like since Horst then, at all. But his he did win a title. But part of the blueprint of it has still been, what is your number one goal? And it's been to keep Giannis happy.
And that's what sold our future. That's the problem with the organization right now.
But tell me an NBA team that doesn't operate that way. Keep the star happy.
The only other team that does that consistently is whoever has LeBron James on the roster. And because no one does that for Kevin Durant, they just trade his ass away.
Well, he demands it, and LeBron's also left 3 different places, so they haven't done it
But my
well.
thing is, we paid Pat Connaughton huge money when he
playoff
Pat. But then you get the organizations like the Celtics, for example, right now that are paying similar money in this time for someone like Peyton Pritchard, who's a way bigger contributor than even at his peak Pat Connaughton was. But I don't know. That's why I'm just not a big fan of Horst, because he did so much to we've had no offense, we've had Thanasis on the roster, holding a roster spot for a long time. But what
does it matter? He's the last guy on the bench.
It's
that guy's
important
gonna be
for team morale. I get it.
X.
Yeah, it's a small blip on it, but again, we traded away young talent, guys we drafted the AJ Johnson kid. Do you remember him? Raw talent. 20 years old.
Hasn't done anything.
Yeah, but it didn't fit into why didn't we trade that pick away instead of picking? You know what I mean? Why we couldn't have got a better win now kind of guy? People would have given you a pretty significant haul for a first rounder, whether it's late first round or early, and you have more guys that contribute versus a 20-year-old who you're trying to develop, and it just didn't fit the timeline. They just had a lot of missteps in there.
Yeah, but I hear that. But the other thing is, when they drafted Johnson, the critique coming out of the playoffs was they got to get younger. So, at some point, you had to start flipping some things around. You had to start changing. I don't believe Pat Connaughton and A.J. Johnson are the reasons why they didn't get back. Frankly, the reason why they didn't get back was the health of their best players.
Right.
And, as difficult as it is to put it upon Giannis missing 2.5 games against the Heat when you lose in 5, or either him or Damian Lillard not being available in the postseason series, they had second-round exit written all over them last year. However...
Well, hold on. Before you say that, We did lose to the Pacers that we should have beat them, and the Pacers went to the NBA Finals. So don't rule that out that we could have been a contender last year based on what the Pacers did.
But look at that contract we just
right
gave
there.
Miles Turner. Like that, how does that work into the timeline? We're not getting younger, right? Like,
Well, they're 26 years old. It's not like he's a 34-year-old. Like the tough thing is
Plays like it.
they were hoping to be able to compete.
Right.
The goal was that Miles Turner wasn't straight cheeks the majority of the year, and sadly, that's ultimately what you got. The tough thing is, and I'm not here to say that John Horst is the best executive in the NBA, but like
he's above average.
the people on the floor maybe haven't gotten as much of the lack of the blame as everybody else around the Milwaukee Bucks have. Availability is your best ability, and they have not had that in the last 3 or 4 years, let alone like their best chance to win it again. They were up 3-2, coming home, going to the conference finals. You go 46 to Jason Tatum, and the Celtics come back, and Grant Williams hits 8 threes on you in Game 7.
That's true.
And it was over, and they were playing with a less than healthy Middleton. So they've been unable to stay healthy. Does that give everyone a pass? Absolutely not. But if there was a time to make a change, new president, Wes Edens is no longer been the acting governor within a year and a half. I wouldn't be surprised if they gave somebody else the chance to be able to rebuild it.
What I worry about, not just Horst, but the organization of the Bucks, I worry the Bucks do what's best for Giannis going forward instead of focusing on what's best for the Milwaukee Bucks going forward. That's my
right
biggest
there.
concern. And I feel like if we bring in new people to make those decisions, they're not going to be having any loyalty to Giannis. They're not going to be having any loyalty to anyone here. They're going to do what's best going forward.
Well,
and that's what we need, because we're at a time in our franchise right now where...
Do you think Giannis can still win as the best player?
No.
Well, then there's your answer. Then he needs to be moved. Right? Like, if you don't believe so, then you don't offer him an extension. But then you also then sign up for, as much as it is a different, we make decisions for a lot of different reasons. You're signing up for a whole lot of 6,000 people a night days at Fiserv Forum, if that's the way that you go and strategize it.
I mean, like, let me elaborate more on that though. Like, no, Giannis is not able to take the Bucks to another, contention run, simply because we sold the future to make him happy today, and we have no more assets left. We have...
Well, it's not true though. They can trade 3 to 4 first-round picks on draft night. They got 3 different expiring They can make moves. They can move guys around.
Right.
But if you think he's that dude,
what do you bring in?
all of that didn't necessarily matter.
What do you bring in that's available in the market right now? Like that, because thinking about availability of like what the market's going to look like this summer for what not the Packers, what the Bucks are going to need is you got the biggest name that's going to be on the market is obviously going to be Giannis. I mean, allegedly, and Ja Morant. Like, does bringing in someone like Ja Morant put them into that category where you're like, yeah, they can win games now? Or are you just bringing in a head case and further distancing yourself from the future? I feel like there's just many steps that we're going to have to take to get there. And if I'm the Bucks this offseason, I'm doing what he said. I'm signing that max, and I'm taking calls.
The tough thing is too, then you got to wait 6 months. It doesn't necessarily work that way. Like you just, you're not going to be able to do the full on sign and trade. It's going to be, and this is where I think the answer's kind of already probably been given to him. I think he's gone, and I think he's decided that he wants to be gone. Then it'll just end up who in the next 2 months
New York Knicks
gets embarrassed in the playoffs, and the temperature turns up on that president of basketball operations to say, you know what, we will give you more than what everybody else is looking at. And it's going to be different, but we're also 8 months removed from Desmond Bane netting 4 first-round picks and that running the Magic into the 8th seed.
I got a sleeper name to think about in a Giannis contention. So I said Golden State, but another team that nobody's even thinking about, the Spurs.
Well, a lot of people were thinking about them this past year, but the Spurs didn't want to give up some important pieces to their team.
But now they've seen that Dylan Harper can ball. Stephon Castle's a baller. They got a lot of young assets like, was it Kobe Bryant? A lot of guys showing a lot of promise. And they got some high first-round picks coming up. Oklahoma City's got the same kind of assets there. I mean,
Oklahoma City ain't trading.
I just don't think those
they don't need
teams
'em.
want
They
to
don't
ruin
need
the
'em, but-
nucleus that they have. I think they have such good prospects for themselves right now. They don't want to give that up for a guy on an expiring contract 1 year, Giannis.
I don't like the Knicks as a destination. I know Giannis is, or there's been some alleged conversations about the Knicks being one of those teams, but I've heard the same thing about the Heat. Like, how about this? What would you need to get if you're the guy making the call? What are you willing to give up to get Giannis?
I think it depends where your franchise is in. If you're a team that you think you're a contender, or if you're,
What about the Celtics?
why
Celtics don't want him.
I don't see him being a great fit with a lot of the top teams in the league right now. Like, I don't see them wanting to ruin the core that they have. I think it's a team like the Knicks that feel like they've always been a step away the last few years. I think it's a team like that they don't have a ton to give as far as like young guys that, give us a good future, but they will give as much as they possibly can for Giannis.
You're talking like right now, that's the best situation for an overpay, because that's what I think the Bucks are looking for, is someone to overpay for Giannis.
Not necessarily an overpay, but I mean, it's the NBA to act like he's not going to play a significant role in where his landing spot is. I just think that's a little naive. Like, he's gonna play a significant role in where he goes because he wants to go there. Does he want to go to San Antonio? Maybe. I don't know that they're going to be all that excited to break up, as you mentioned, that core with those three young guys to going at him. I think he's still one of the top 7 players in the league
100%.
when healthy. But I think you're looking more at like Houston, who might be in the market to potentially overpay.
Right.
However, Atlanta flames out potentially. Maybe that's a way. But New York right now seems like the one where they can go find a place to take Cat, and then we'll take those assets. But it's going to be one where they maneuver a lot of their core to break it up, because you're shaking up a significant amount of your core to bring in 34.
Well, let's finish here with just talking about, we got NHL playoffs. NHL playoffs start Saturday. NBA playoffs start Saturday. Fun time of the year right now. Just why don't you guys give me one pick, something that you look forward to this NBA playoffs. Maybe you have you looked at some series prices, or maybe you got a team you think's going to win the conference, or the whole thing. What are you thinking right now? You guys got something? Like, for me, I feel like I know you guys think I'm crazy, but Philadelphia against Boston, I think this is an opportunity for Philadelphia at plus 650. You could also even take them at plus 2.5 games at plus 150, just to be competitive in the series.
Feels okay.
I don't know. I maybe
Does that
I'm
mean
crazy.
They gotta win 6 games,
No,
or
they
they
just
gotta
gotta
win
win
3?
They got to win. They got to win
2.
Is
Yeah.
it 2.5 or 1.5?
Because Boston can't win more than 4 in a 7-game series, so you get plus 2.5.
Okay.
I just feel like
wanted to make sure, because if you're telling me that thing's gotta go 7,
no.
At that point, then you almost might as well take the series line for them to win at plus 650, because if you think it's going that long, then you take as much value.
I guess I'm just not that much of a believer in Boston as everyone else is. I feel like everyone just feels like they're a shoo-in, and I don't
know. They've only been the best team wire to wire, and they did just get their best player back. It kind of makes sense why people think they're away.
I like the Spurs.
Spurs?
Spurs all the way.
They're going to have to face Denver in the second round if they both advance, and that's going to be a hell of a series.
I'm looking at the depth of the team. I think the people that the Spurs are pulling off the bench are just insanely good talent. Like, I mean, I will say Denver is more equipped to win playoff games because they have more experience. But at the same time, the Spurs are young. They have no experience in the playoffs, and sometimes that's the best thing to have.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It upset potential. I mean, I'm sure they got good odds. I haven't checked them, but I mean, everyone, I would imagine, theoretically thinks that they got to play Oklahoma City, right? Mm-hmm. And they've proven that they can beat them.
Yeah.
Right.
Bill, you got a pick for us in the NBA playoffs?
Spurs make it out of the West would be plus 275. I actually really like Denver if you're going to go with a wild card to make it out. I don't know that anybody's beaten OKC, because I just haven't seen anybody consistently be able to stop Shea. But the one in the first round that I really like, and I would, you know what, I'm gonna go with you, because I want you to be right on this. You're so steadfast on the Philadelphia 76ers. I'm gonna take the plus 2.5 on the game series line. I'm put the Lakers at +2.5 in there as well. Is LeBron James going to get embarrassed in this series? I just don't see it. He's been playing way too good as of late to not steal one early and then get Luka back for at least one game. I know he's still out indefinitely.
Like
it feels like later in the series there might be a possibility. Lakers are like -130, I think, on that. You tie those two together for
Put
a
those
parlay,
two
and that's
together,
my
yeah,
piece.
+343
I
on
like
parlay.
that.
Yeah, Sixers and Lakers +2.5 games in each series. They just can't lose in a sweep or only
Neither
get one
team
win.
can get gentlemen's.
Yeah.
So let's go and let's have a fun series, reach it to 6, and then see where we cash out.
All right, well, it's going to be fun NBA playoffs and NHL playoffs this weekend. We hope you guys come in here at Potawatomi Sportsbook. We'll see you next time.